would say we were good together. I would say we have fun, but our trails will never run forever. Something else is on your mind. Hey everybody, Pandy here of Pandy's Hair, Candy, and More. If this is your first time stopping by my channel, welcome. If you are already chat family with me, welcome back. And welcome to another Queen Sugar review and recap. As you can see by the thumbnail, we are officially in the final season, the 7th season of the popular series. And tonight I am going to be reviewing and recapping episode 2. So again, I want to thank you for taking a moment to come on over and check me out. I hope that you all enjoy, and I definitely hope that you get down in these comments and let me know what's on your mind. What are you guys feeling about this particular season? Let me know if I missed something. Let me know what your thoughts were on the episode. Now, with that being said, you guys want to take a moment to make sure you blow dry on that like button for me, as that greatly helps with the way that the content is shared out on the platform. And you want to go ahead and grab yourself a snack and a beverage and enjoy. Okay? And again, thank you all so much for being here. Also, if you find that you enjoy the content, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It is free 99. It does not cost you anything to do so. Now, with that being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and jump right off into my review. So in tonight's episode, again, we're dealing with Queen Sugar, Season 7, Episode 2. It is titled, After a Period, Peace Blooms. So basically in this episode, guys, we are seeing Auntie Vi kind of frantically searching for an old address book, and Hollywood starts to question her about how well she really knew her best friend, Betty. Now, we do know that Betty happens to be the mother of Parker, the living daughter of Sam Landry and this Betty lady, right? Which ultimately ends up connecting the Boudreaux and the Bordelons once again, and basically reopens this whole fight to overturn this historical landmarkers on the Bordelon family land. Now, in another room, we see the family gathered together, and it appears that they're watching some type of old VHS movies. I believe that Ralph Angel has kind of gathered up. I know in the last episode, in episode 1, I believe Charlie was cleaning out her property because she was going to be relocating back to LA to pursue her political career. And in the midst of all of that, they ended up stumbling across these old VHS home movies, basically. Now, in the old VHS movies, it appeared to be a bunch of past family events. And in one in particular, there was a young Pops Bordelon. And it was a very emotional yet happy time because we see Nova, Ralph Angel, and Micah watching the movies. And then we see a video that kind of fades in and out. But because it's a VHS, Michael suggests digitizing it so the family can kind of salvage what good footage there is. And then they begin to talk about how Sam Landry is basically trying to come in and take things all over again, right? And just basically cause the family all kind of turmoil. Y'all know the Landrys. Now, in the next episode, we see Micah. He's he looks like he's at the cultural center. Now, we got to remember that I cannot ever remember the guy's name who is Kiki's boss, the dark-skinned fella. But anyway, they're at the cultural center, and Micah is in the class there, and he shows up, and they're discussing NFTs, which I learned stands for non-functional tokens. Now, this is basically what he's there learning about, because remember, Micah is like a freelance photographer. And he basically asks the gentleman, what the process is for him to be able to upload NFTs. So I think he's kind of thinking about refurbishing those VHS family movies. All right. Now, in the next scene, we see Mr. Prosper. Mr. Prosper and Hollywood are kind of talking, and I thought I had a clip of that, y'all. But it doesn't look like I do. But anyway, Mr. Hollywood is talking. Mr. Hollywood and Mr. Prosper are talking. And Prosper is sharing, that he's really starting to feel a thing for Miss Sandy. And, he feels like it's been such a long time since he's felt this way about any woman. He wants it to be special, but he wants to make his move. Like, he wants to really take her out on a real date. Now, remember, Miss Sandy been having Mr. Prosper fix everything in her house, basically. So now they finally made it official to go out on their first date. But he wants to do something special. Now, Hollywood suggests giving them the use of the real spot and, making it a Jamaican feel, because initially he jokingly suggested that he take her to Jamaica. And of course, Mr. Prosper was like, I ain't got that kind of money. So they discuss basically decorating the real spot, putting a Jamaican feel on it for him, and having their first date there. Now, we then also see Mo, which is pictured here with Mr. Prosper and Darla. Mo, Ralph Angel, Prosper, and Darla are walking the land, and Mo gives them these seeds. She says they're from her mother, and she actually tells them the story behind the seeds and how they're for good luck. She told them to plant them and to save the seeds and to basically hand them down to the next generation. So, of course, Nova asks Mo if she was ready to go for the interview. She suggests that they grab lunch, but Mo suggests drinks instead. And Ralph Angel basically gives Nova this real uneasy kind of look, because he already knows his sister. He knows that Nova kind of swings both ways in the man pond and the lady pond, if you catch my drift. So he's like, sis, calm down. I don't even need you messing this up, with the co-op and everything. But because he warned her in the previous episode last week, he knows how she gets down. And we all know that Nova's relationships on the show have been pretty toxic. I kind of feel Ralph Angel on this one. All right. Now, next, we see Billie in the grocery store. Remember, y'all, Billie is Mr. Prosper's daughter. Let me see if I got any pictures of Miss Billie. She's in the grocery store and her cell phone's ringing. She's looking at it and she's shoving it back in her purse. Again, still avoiding her husband Vince's calls, when a lady nearby chimes in telling her, the last time I did that, and ignored his call. He was across the street watching as I hit ignore. Billie looks up at this woman, this unknown black woman, and she chimes out, well, he's actually in Chicago. So they have a little small talk. It's very casual, very innocent, or as so it seems. And the lady blatantly introduces herself to Billie as Imani. She tells Billie her mom calls her Imani when she asks her, hey, what's your name? Now, back to Hollywood and Mr. Prosper. They're basically still planning for the first date, because Prosper shares he's a little rusty. It's been a little bit since he's been out on a date, and he's a little nervous. Now, we also see Mo and Nova out at a bar. And, of course, Nova thanks her for the seeds. And she really just shares a little bit with Mo. The nervousness about how big this is to her family. And at that time, Mo begins to share a little bit more information with Nova about her and who she is. So it appears that Mo is basically Native American and Black. And, of course, Nova's phone chirps and she ignores a text from Dominic. And when Mo asks Nova if she has someone, she's not so clear, which, of course, can be kind of dangerous because, remember, Mo has acknowledged that, she's a lesbian. She's openly gay, and so she's basically putting it out there to ask Nova, because she shared when she met Nova, she's a fan of her work. So she knows Nova goes both ways. So the fact that Nova wasn't being clear and saying that she has this man, that was a little suspect. That was a little shade. Now, again, in the next scene, we see Micah, and he's showing his instructor, Kiki's boss, the curator of I'm not sure what this building is, and I'll try and get more information, guys, but it's like some type of cultural art institute. And Micah is there trying to show him some of his art, some of his photos, and he basically lets him know that he wants to get in on the art show game. And he basically tells him that he needs to holler at Kiki because Kiki curates everything for him and that basically she's the boss. Okay? Now, meanwhile, we go back to the diner and we see Auntie Vi and Joaquin chatting. And he casually reminds her that all of his pie has sold out today. And Auntie Vi just kind of jokes with him like, yeah, that's because we had a bunch of tourists in here. But our regulars like their real sugar, real butter, and not a bunch of substitutes. He tells her that the substitutes can be tasty too, and that he wouldn't mind showing her a few things. So she tells him, fine, you're going to help me with Prosper's date night with Miss Sandy. And of course, he is happy about that. She also takes a moment to ask Joaquin about his mom again, but he was very short with her. And gave her limited information. So I think something is going on with Joaquin's mom, and we'll probably see a little bit more about that as the season progresses. Now, next, we see Billie, Darla, and Miss Parthena. Miss Parthena, they show up down to the City Records office. Well, no, actually, it looked like a bank. And it doesn't look too good for her. And they're basically telling her that they don't see any records of her filing for an extension on her mortgage payments. Now, remember last week, Darla brought to her attention that as she was looking through the records for her, like she asked her to do, and she noticed that her mortgage had fallen significantly behind. So at that time, Darla interjects to state that, as they're speaking with the gentleman at the bank, that Miss Parthena has filed more than 3 months ago, but never received any type of confirmation of the extension. And Miss Parthena even adds, calling the bank rep by name, telling him that she placed the paperwork in his hand personally, to which he responds, he don't recall that. And also adds, did you get a receipt? So I already see how this is finna play out for Miss Parthena. It's not looking good, sis. She basically tells him he ain't never gave her a receipt in the 35 years that she's been doing business with them. And Darla, of course, tries to add that the emergency assistance funds that Miss Parthena applied for hasn't come through yet, thinking that that would help. Unfortunately, it seemed to infuriate him even more because he went on to say that those funds are tied up because of the lawsuits of the white farmers. Something about some type of reverse discrimination. At that time, Billie chimed in to state that the lawsuit affects USDA loans, not the extensions. So he then tells her she can sell the property or get the money in within 48 hours, and that those were basically her options. Now, while they were in this meeting, Darla took notice of a black gentleman employee listening in on everything that was unfolding. So she approached him outside in the hallway after their meeting to see if there was anything that he could do to help. Now, unfortunately not, he states. It appears that the other guy intentionally manages all of the accounts of all the black farmers. But he also does share with her his business card and says he can't talk freely there, but he urged her to do what they can to come up with the money ASAP because he heard him talking to the sheriff earlier. Just straight dirty, y'all. Now, next we see Darla, Nova, Prosper, and Miss Parthena meeting, trying to brainstorm what their next move was going to be. And Prosper is also all too familiar with Roy Miller, which is the guy's name, and says he has crooked ways. And Nova also mentions that his name always came up with all of the farmers that she previously interviewed in her work as well. Now, Darla shared that Mr. Randolph, which was the black gentleman employee, said that Roy Miller manages all the black farmers' accounts. So as you all can see there, this is a whole big racket where they're triangulating all the black farmers and basically gentrification modern time, okay? Where they're swindling them up out of their land as well as their homes. Now, back to Micah. At the Ivory NFT, Micah shows up to meet Zane. Now, keep in mind, Micah was warned about Zane by Kiki's boss. And I don't know why his name always slips my mind, guys. It always slips my mind. I'm looking to see. Here's Zane. So when Kiki's boss told him, when Micah shared that he basically wanted to get into the NFT game, the guy, Kiki's boss, kind of shared, I don't necessarily deal in that, but talk to Kiki. She can hook you up with some people that she knows. So Zane is somebody that Kiki is acquainted with, and she basically hooked it up to where Micah could meet up with him so they could have this meeting, right? So when Micah shows up to meet Zane, again, he was warned. The meeting is very impromptu, very artistic, and it turns out They set up arrangements to actually meet up at Micah's house, which I thought was kind of weird, but whatever. So he's going to come by and meet up with him at his apartment. Okay. Now, next, turns out, y'all, that the lady from the grocery store is actually the daughter of Sam Landry and Auntie Vi's friend Betty. She was basically playing in Billie's face, y'all. That's their daughter, Parker. When they showed up for the council meeting, the one where they were going to rule on whether or not to overturn the historical landmark in favor of the Thibodeau massacre versus becoming a strip mall, which is what Sam Landry and them are fighting for, she actually makes quite a compelling case. And Miss Parker Campbell takes the stand and paints another approach and even breaks down crying, stating that she wants to bring jobs to St. Joe to boost the economy. Only one black woman on the council voted in favor of the farmers, y'all. It was really cringy to watch. Again, they're trying to basically preserve keeping this historical landmark and not allow Landry Enterprises development to move forward with this whole strip mall, because the hit that St. Joe took during the COVID situation, basically they're trying to argue that the strip mall would bring more jobs and give a boost to the economy in the area. Whereas the farmers are like, no, this is what we do. We're farmers. We farm on our land. And this is historical that has been passed down generation to generation within our families. So it's this whole big thing, right? Now, I'm still gagged at the fact that Sam's daughter intentionally lied to Billie in the grocery store and told her that her name was Amani. Now, y'all, back at the home, Hollywood and Vi are in the yard and they're chilling, sitting out on the boat, and they're just trying to get their mind on better things, because everybody is just shook, because in the ruling for the council meeting, they actually ended up ruling in favor of Sam Landry, y'all. So basically, they're going to have to be entangled with the Landrys all over again. And a lot of farmers are going to lose their land as well as their properties as a result, because they want to build this strip mall. So, of course, Hollywood and Auntie Vi are, just trying to get their mind into a better space. Next, we see Micah at his apartment, and he's waiting on Zane to show up, right? And when Zane arrives, he shows up with a bottle. And he actually comes off as very opportunistic, very thirsty. He actually comments on how nice the taste of Micah's furniture is and how hot Charlie is, which I thought, ooh, highly inappropriate. That's his mama. But anywho, who am I, right? And then he kind of picks him, in my opinion, by asking him if the guy in the picture with him is his boyfriend. So this was a telltale sign, he's trying to feel Micah out to see if he's gay, straight, whatever, right? And it was very cringy. So, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Next, we see Nova and Billie doing their own kind of getting out of a dark space. They are actually sitting out in the yard on the back of Ralph Angel's truck, y'all, going straight old school, tossing up some 40s. On the bed of Ralph Angel's pickup truck, of all things, y'all, tossing up some 40 ounces of brew. Okay. Tripping off the day's fiascos, right? Billie shares with Nova that she did actually call Vince finally, but that she's not quite ready, to deal with him face to face. She's not sure if she wants to leave him or if she wants to stay and work things out. Apparently, they've been married for several years, but their kids are grown and out of the house. I don't know if they're off to college or whatever, but she's just like going through this time where she's trying to find herself, I feel like. And because she's been away for so long and kind of wrapped up in being a mom and wrapped up in being a wife, she had never been able to really explore her potential like she's doing right now for the farmers of St. Joe. So again, she tells Nova she just needs more time. Now, Billie is also shook at the fact that Parker played her, in the grocery store that day. So they're basically out there drinking, catching up on old times. And of course, Nova tries to encourage her to pursue her dreams. Nova also shares that she spoke with Mo, which of course is the lady over the Louisiana co-op situation. And that they're going to stage some type of, I forget the technical word she called it, but it's like almost like a cultural ceremonial type of thing that they do to like bless the land. So she's talking about setting that up with her. And then next, of course, we see Micah. This time, Micah is showing up at Zane's studio. Okay. And they're all celebrating Micah when he walks through the door, telling him that they got him his first sale. So, of course, Zane moves quickly, y'all. He done got Micah a little bit of money in his pocket. So, of course, he's wooing him at this point. Okay? He's love bombing him. And Micah's just blown away. He can't believe it, right? He's tripping. Next, we go back to the diner. And this is where we see Miss Sandy and Mr. Prosper. Let's see. Do we got a clip of Miss Sandy and Mr. Prosper for y'all? I sure hope I saved it, y'all, because I really like them together. And I want y'all to be able to have the visual. Doesn't look like I uploaded that one. For some reason, I don't see a lot of my clips. But anyway, they are at the diner and we see them. He's kind of guiding her in. She's blindfolded. And to her surprise, they have decorated everything with a Jamaican tropical theme, y'all. It is very romantic, music and all. And over dinner, they actually share their first kiss. It was so cute, y'all. Now, back at the house, Ralph Angel is looking at old footage of his parents on his phone. And in walks Darla. They begin to reminisce on their humble beginnings, and suddenly Ralph Angel's phone rings. And it's a frantic Prosper telling him to get over to Miss Parthena's. And it does not sound good, y'all. It does not sound good at all. Now, when they get there, Miss Parthena is outside crying when he arrives. Prosper and Hollywood are already there. And y'all, they are trying to help her with all of her personal belongings. The police are actually there, y'all. The sheriff tells Darla that it is basically too late as she tries to hand him the actual physical extension paperwork. And of course, a very distraught Miss Parthena is crying to Auntie Vi, asking her where's she gonna go? What is she gonna do? And of course, Auntie Vi tells her, don't you worry about that. And Ralph Angel embraces her tightly. And of course, this is where episode 2 ends, with a scene Miss Parthena, poor Miss Parthena, getting evicted, y'all, in the midnight hour. Just heartless and cold, y'all. I don't know why they did that lady like that, but y'all, they did it. So y'all, again, that concludes my review and my recap on Queen Sugar, Season 7, Episode 2. Y'all drop down in the comments below. Let me know what your thoughts are. What did you guys think about this episode? I am, for one, very, very upset that they're doing that to this elderly woman. And the fact that she's been banking with them and paying on her mortgage for over 35 years. The one time she falls on hard times and they see her making an effort to try to keep her property and keep her land, have some type of dignity and pride about herself, they're playing her to the left. I do not like that. My thoughts are, too, Zane. I'm not quite sure what he's up to, but he's definitely a slick Willie, so I got my good side eye on him. And then I'm also very curious about Micah and Kiki, because Micah is expressing a lot of interest in Kiki, but he also still seems very conflicted with his sexuality. So I'm going to be very interested to see where that goes. And then also, I need to know what's up with Billie. Like, girl, you sitting around here tossing 40 ounces up. You're ignoring your husband's call. You're avoiding going home. It's just a lot going on with her. So I'm really curious to see what they're going to do with her character in this season as well, being that this is the final season. So as you all can see, y'all, there's a lot of little storylines popping off in the overall grand scheme of things. Again, I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. Please feel free to drop down in the comments below and leave me your feedback. If you have anything that you'd like to add, I am here for it. And if you didn't remember to do so on your way coming in, please don't forget to blow dry on that like button. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it, as it definitely does help with the way that my content is distributed here on YouTube. Now, without further ado, guys, I am going to bid you all a farewell. You all stay blessed, stay encouraged, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye. But you don't feel the same, right?